I grip my water glass so hard my fingers turn white, but I refuse to let my mother see how deeply her words cut. Amanda, you'll never be as good as your sister. The chandelier light catches in the crystal, sending prisms across the white tablecloth as silence crashes down on our family dinner. Sierra's promotion celebration dinner, the reason we're all gathered around my parents' mahogany table on a Wednesday night. The dinner I rushed to after a 10-hour workday, barely having time to change from my rumpled blouse to a fresh one. Mom, Sierra starts, but stops when our mother raises her hand. It's just fact, dear. Your sister chose stability over ambition. Nothing wrong with that, but we need to acknowledge reality. My father clears his throat, studying his plate of half-eaten salmon. Your mother's right, Amanda. Sierra's on track to make vice president before 30. Different paths. I look at Sierra in her crisp crimson dress, her hair perfectly styled even after a full day at the office. Then at our mother, wearing the pearl necklace I bought her last Christmas, the one she claimed was nice but not really my style, before wearing it to every one of Sierra's events. Something snaps inside me. 2 years of swallowed words rise in my throat. I stand, open my purse, and pull out the mortgage statement I'd been carrying for 3 days, waiting for the right moment. There is no right moment for this. I've been paying your bills for 2 years, I say, placing the paper on the table, including this house. My mother's eyes widen briefly before she composes herself. She waves her hand dismissively, the gesture so familiar it makes my stomach clench. That's what family does. Sierra needs to focus on her career. My mind flashes back to Sierra's college graduation 6 years ago. My parents presented her with keys to a brand new red Mazda, complete with a giant white bow on the hood. Later that afternoon, they handed me a gift bag containing a coffee mug printed with my alma mater's logo. You're already established, Mom had explained when she caught my expression. Your sister needs our support. Then came that first call 2 years ago. Dad's voice uncharacteristically hesitant, explaining a temporary financial setback. Just one mortgage payment, they said. Just until things stabilized. I touched the corner of the mortgage statement now spread on the table. 2 years of payments isn't temporary help anymore. Family supports each other, Mom says, her voice hardening. Why are you being so selfish? I reach into my bag again and pull out the stack of receipts I've been collecting. Bank statements, transfer confirmations, canceled checks. 2 years of financial drain organized in a neat accordion file. I've supported plenty, I say, my voice steadier than my hands. But I'm not your ATM. My father's face reddens. Your sister's at a critical point in her career. And I'm at a critical point in my patience, I reply, surprising myself with the steel in my voice. Sierra looks between us, confusion creasing her forehead. What's happening right now? No one answers her. My mother stares at me with narrowed eyes. My father studies the ceiling as if the answer might be written there. I stand in my parents' dining room, suddenly aware of what I'm risking. These are my only family connections. The people who raised me. The sister I helped with homework and drove to dance recitals. Yet looking at their faces, I see for the first time how they measure my worth, not in love or memories or shared blood, but in dollars I can provide while staying conveniently in the background. I'll be taking a break from family dinners, I say, gathering my purse. And family payments. My mother's face hardens into something I barely recognize. You'll regret this, Amanda. Family is all we have in this world. I pause at the doorway, feeling a strange lightness. Then I guess I have nothing. A whole week passed after that dramatic dinner, and besides Sierra's rare messages, my parents did not contact me. However, on Thursday afternoon, my mother called me to help her organize her tax paperwork. Since you're so good with numbers, a backhanded compliment that acknowledged my skill while dismissing my career. I never intended to find it, but as I sorted through the chaotic stack of documents on her desk, a familiar name caught my eye. Mine. I freeze. A student loan statement in my hand, not mine, but Sierra's plate. The words blur, then sharpen with horrifying clarity. A payment of $19,400 with a transfer confirmation bearing my account number. My fingers tremble as I flip through more pages. Car payments, credit card statements. My stomach twists into a knot so tight I can barely breathe. These weren't emergency payments. They weren't temporary help. This was systematic, planned, expected. I hear footsteps behind me and turn to see my mother in the doorway, her pearl necklace, my Christmas gift, gleaming against her crisp white blouse. Did you find the mortgage interest forms? She asks, then notices the papers in my hands. Something flickers across her face, not guilt, but annoyance at being discovered. What is this? What is this? My voice sounds distant, like it belongs to someone else. Dad appears behind her, his reading glasses perched on his forehead. Sierra stands in the hallway, thumbs tapping on her phone screen, barely glancing up. Amanda, don't make a scene, Mom says, stepping into the office. Dad follows, both of them towering over me as I sit in the leather desk chair. The ledger lies open between us like a confession. You used my money to pay Sierra's student loans. I tap the statement with my index finger. $19,400. Mom waves her hand dismissively. You were helping the family. Sierra's loans were the most pressing need. And her car payments? I hold up another statement. $3,600 last year alone. Transportation is essential for her position, Dad says, adjusting his glasses. She meets with clients. The credit cards? I fan out the statements. $9,200 in designer clothes and restaurants. Professional appearance matters in marketing, Mom replies without hesitation. I look past them to Sierra, who finally pockets her phone with a shrug. I didn't ask for any of this. Mom said you were happy to help. The room suddenly feels too small, the walls closing in. 2 years of thinking I was helping with a temporary hardship, when all along I was funding Sierra's lifestyle. Sierra needs freedom to build her career. Dad says, his tone suggesting I should understand this obvious fact. You're stable. Stable, like a workhorse, reliable, boring, the practical daughter whose purpose is to support the star. I push back from the desk, needing space. My own student loans are still not paid off. I've been putting every extra dollar toward yours. That's different, Mom says. Your career choice doesn't require the same presentation. The unspoken comparison hangs in the air. Software engineering versus marketing, back office versus front-facing. Invisible versus celebrated. Do you have any idea what this is doing to my financial future? I ask, my voice stronger now. If I keep supporting everyone, I'll never have anything for myself. Mom blinks, genuinely confused by my concern. Family supports family, Amanda. We've always taught you that. Sierra's wedding is coming up, she continues, a new gleam in her eye. Of course you'll help with that too. She deserves the perfect day. The casual assumption knocks the wind from me. I grab the ledger, flipping to the last page where I've tracked every payment. The total glares back at me, $61,000. $61,000. 2 years of mortgage payments, student loans, car payments, credit cards. $61,000 spent supporting my family while they treated me as the less successful daughter. I closed the ledger with trembling hands. All this time, I'd been enabling their favoritism by financing it. Later that afternoon, I show the ledger to Diane, my colleague and the closest thing I have to a friend these days. We sit in a cafe, coffee growing cold between us as she examines the pages. This isn't normal family support, Amanda, she says finally, closing the book and sliding it back to me. This is exploitation. The word hits me like a physical blow. Exploitation. Not help, not family duty. A deliberate taking advantage. As I drive home that night, ledger copies tucked in my bag, I wrestle with an impossible choice. Should I cut off financial support immediately and force my family to face reality? Or gradually reduce payments to give them time to adjust? The first option might shatter relationships beyond repair, but the second meant more months of financial strain for me. What would you do when the people who should love you unconditionally only value what you can give them? Next Wednesday morning, at work, my phone buzzes with the 5th call from my cousin this week. My family will hold a family emergency meeting, yet I intend not to go. I silence the phone and slide it face down on my desk, watching the screen light up again almost immediately. The Morris family reunion is apparently all anyone can talk about. Are you avoiding someone? Diane asks from her cubicle, eyebrow raised. My mother organized a family reunion without telling me, I say, rubbing my temples. Now she wants me to fund it. Diane's eyes widen. The nerve after everything else they've taken. I nod, opening my email to find 3 messages from aunts and uncles I haven't spoken to in months. Each contains subtle variations of the same request. The family needs help. And apparently, I'm the designated helper. Did you know about the reunion? I ask Diane. No, but your sister's engagement is all over social media, she says, turning her monitor toward me. Your mother tagged everyone except you. Sierra's beaming face fills the screen, a diamond ring prominently displayed on her left hand. The caption reads, "Planning the celebration of the century for my beautiful daughter. Blessed." My stomach tightens when I see the first comment. Amanda will help make it perfect. I've become the family ATM, and now they're making promises on my behalf. Later that evening, I curl up on my couch with a cup of tea, scrolling through Facebook. My thumb freezes over a photo posted 5 weeks ago, my parents and Sierra posing in front of the Las Vegas sign, cocktails raised in celebration. The timestamp shows it was taken during the weekend. I worked overtime to cover an emergency property tax payment for their house. They went to Vegas with my money while telling me they couldn't make ends meet. In the days that follow, sleep becomes a luxury I can no longer afford. Night after night, I lie awake, calculating numbers, how much I've given, how much they've asked for, how much I have left. The weight of financial worry presses against my chest until breathing becomes difficult. During meetings at work, I catch myself drifting away, thinking about the second notice on my own student loan payment, while Sierra's loans are paid in full with my money. You look exhausted. My boss commented one Thursday morning, after I missed a deadline for the first time in 3 years. I'm fine, I lie, but the dark circles under my eyes tell the truth. I start keeping a journal, every phone call, every request, every dollar transferred. The small leather-bound book becomes my constant companion. In its pages, I document the pattern of manipulation that has shaped our family dynamic for years. The casual mentions of Sierra's accomplishments, followed by requests for money, the guilt trips when I hesitate, the celebration dinners I pay for but am barely acknowledged at. The evidence builds page by page, an undeniable record of systematic exploitation. One Tuesday evening, as I am sorting out documents, Amanda? A familiar voice catches me off guard as I leave the office one evening. Uncle Frank stands by the elevator, his weathered face creased with concern. Uncle Frank, I say, surprised. What are you doing here? Looking for you, he says simply. You've missed the last 3 family gatherings, not like you. I look down, unsure how to explain. I always thought you were the backbone of this family. He continues, his voice gentle. Now I'm wondering if they've been taking advantage of that strength. His words hit with unexpected force, and I blink back sudden tears. The following Saturday, I find myself in my parents' kitchen. Sierra sits at the counter flipping through bridal magazines while my mother circles venue options in red pen. The country club deposit is due next week. My mother says without looking up. Sierra deserves the perfect celebration. You can cover the venue deposit next week. Not a question. A statement. Something in me snaps a clean, decisive break. I'm not paying another cent, I say, my voice steady. For anything. The room goes silent. Sierra's head jerks up from her magazine. My mother freezes, pen hovering over the page. Don't be ridiculous, she finally says, but uncertainty flickers across her face. I'm serious, I continue, finding strange power in the stillness of my voice. I've paid the mortgage, Sierra's loans, credit cards, car payments. I'm done. My mother's mouth opens and closes, fish-like, as she searches for the manipulative words that have always worked before. But for the first time, I see her tactics clearly. The guilt, the comparisons, the subtle insults wrapped in maternal concern. I've been financing my own mistreatment. You can't just, she begins. I can, I interrupt, and I am. The next day, Diane spreads spreadsheets across her dining table, calculator in hand. Without supporting them, she says, circling a number, you could pay off your student loans in 3 years instead of 15. The figure stares back at me, a future I hadn't dared to imagine. Uncle Frank calls that evening. I spoke with your mother, he says. She's not happy. I know. Good, he responds firmly. Sometimes family needs to learn hard lessons. I'm proud of you for setting boundaries. That night, I open my laptop and begin searching for job opportunities outside of Austin. Seattle catches my eye-tech jobs with higher salaries, a fresh start 3,000 miles from Texas. I allow myself to imagine a life built around my own needs and dreams instead of my family's demands. The next morning, I drive to the bank and request printouts of every transaction for the past 2 years. The clerk raises an eyebrow at the volume but complies. Hours later, I organize the stack of papers chronologically, highlighting each payment to my parents. Tucked among my father's financial documents, I discover a statement for an account I've never seen before. An account with a balance that contradicts every claim of hardship he's made. He's been hiding money while I've been draining my savings to support them. My phone rings just as I process this discovery. My mother's name flashes on the screen. "We're having an emergency family responsibility meeting tomorrow," she announces without greeting. The mortgage payment didn't arrive. "I know," I say, feeling calmer than I have in years. "I told you I'm done paying." "This isn't a game, Amanda," she snaps. "Be here at 6. I hang up and look at the evidence spread across my table, proof of years of manipulation and exploitation. For the first time, I hold all the cards. "I'll be there," I whisper to myself. With receipts. On Tuesday evening after work, I arrive 15 minutes early for the family meeting, parking my Toyota 2 houses down from my parents' colonial-style home. The weight of the 3-inch black binder on my passenger seat represents 2 years of financial drainage, meticulously organized by category and date. Uncle Frank's advice echoes in my head when he called me this morning. Don't let them control the narrative. The familiar smell of lemon furniture polish hits me as I enter without knocking. In the dining room, my parents sit at opposite ends of the table like monarchs awaiting a subject. Sierra perches uncomfortably between them, scrolling through her phone. "You're early," Mom says, surprised briefly, crossing her face before she composes herself. I place the binder in the center of the table, the soft thud drawing everyone's attention. I wanted to make sure we had enough time. Dad shifts in his chair. Time for what exactly? I open the binder to the first tab labeled Mortgage. The pages inside contain highlighted bank statements, transfer confirmations, and a running total. Time to go through everything I've paid for over the past 2 years. My voice sounds different, controlled, businesslike. Let's start with the mortgage. 24 payments at $1,200 each. That's $28,800. Mom's eyebrows shoot up. That can't possibly be right. I flip to the next section. Student loans. Sierra's, not mine. $19,400. Dad's face pales as he glances toward the binder. His fingers drum against the polished mahogany. Car payments for Sierra's Mazda. $3,600. I turn another page. And finally, credit card bills, mostly for clothing, restaurants, and Sierra's work trips. $9,200. Sierra's phone slips from her hand, clattering against the table. That's more than I make in 3 months. The grand total, I say, turning to the summary page with the figure highlighted in yellow, is $61,000. Mom's lips press into a thin line. You're exaggerating. Half those payments were gifts. You offered to help. I have proof for every dollar. I pull out a manila folder containing copies of every check, every transfer receipt. The stack lands with a satisfying thickness beside the binder. Would you like to go through them one by one? This is ridiculous, Dad mutters, but his eyes avoid mine. Sierra reaches for the folder, paging through the evidence with trembling fingers. Her usual confidence evaporates as she stops at a credit card statement, showing charges for her interview suits. I had no idea, she whispers. Mom said you were happy to help, Sierra continues, looking up with confusion clouding her eyes. She said you wanted to contribute because you had extra money with your tech salary. Extra money? My laugh comes out harder than intended. I still have my own student loans to pay off. I've been putting off dental work because I couldn't afford it. There was never extra money. When Sierra asks me why I never told her how much I was contributing, I hesitate. Should I explain that our parents had sworn me to secrecy to protect her confidence, or was it better to let her discover their manipulation on her own? Before I can decide, the doorbell rings. Perfect timing. Mom rises, smoothing her cardigan. We're in the middle of something. That would be Uncle Frank, I say. I asked him to join us. Dad's head snaps up. Frank? Why would you? Uncle Frank's voice booms from the entryway as he lets himself in. Hello, everyone. Hope I'm not late. My mother's face tightens as her brother settles into a chair beside me. He nods toward the binder. I see Amanda's showing you the numbers. You knew about this? Mom asks, betrayal in her voice. I suspected, Uncle Frank says, his normally jovial tone serious. Family helps each other in emergencies, not as a permanent arrangement. What you've been doing to Amanda isn't right, Elaine. The silence that follows feels like a physical presence in the room. My mother stares at her brother, then at me, realizing that her carefully constructed narrative is crumbling. I am no longer isolated. Sierra breaks the quiet. Jenna asked me yesterday why Amanda never comes to family events anymore. She seemed concerned, like she knew something was wrong. Your friends don't understand our family dynamics, Mom says dismissively, but uncertainty creeps into her voice. The Hendersons called last week, Uncle Frank adds. They wanted to know if there was any truth to the rumor that you two were having money troubles while spending on luxury items. Dad's face reddens. That's none of their business. The dining room falls silent again until Sierra's phone pings with an incoming message. She glances at it, then looks up with widened eyes. It's from the mortgage company, she says, turning to our parents. They're sending a late notice. In that moment, watching my father's shoulders slump and my mother's mask slip, I realize the first cracks in their carefully maintained facade have appeared. The financial house of cards they've built is beginning to collapse, and for the first time, I'm not rushing to prop it up. 2 days later, I sit across from my parents at their kitchen table, where the light catches dust particles floating between us. The space feels different now, smaller, less intimidating. My father's smile looks strained as he slides a paper toward me. Amanda, we've been thinking. He clears his throat. We understand your concerns about the financial arrangements. My mother nods, her eyes darting to the stack of past due notices peeking from beneath a cookbook. Families should acknowledge each other's contributions. We haven't done that enough with you. The script sounds rehearsed. I watch their performance with new clarity, the way Dad's fingers drum nervously on the table, how Mom keeps glancing at the bills she's trying to hide. We have a compromise. Mom continues. If you resume the mortgage payments, we'll make sure everyone knows how much you help. Sierra, too. Dad leans forward. Think about what you're risking, Amanda. Family relationships can't be repaired once they break. Is that what you want? Their words hang in the air between us, a final attempt to reclaim control. 2 months ago, I might have folded. 2 weeks ago, I might have negotiated. Today, I simply open my laptop. I've accepted a new position, I say, turning the screen toward them. Software architect at Meridian Tech in Seattle. I start next month. The color drains from my mother's face. Seattle? That's across the country. The salary is $135,000, I continue, pulling up a spreadsheet I've prepared. That's $33,000 more than I make now. Dad leans forward. That's wonderful, honey, but... And without supporting this household, I interrupt, highlighting a row on my budget. I'll save approximately $3,200 every month. My mother's lips press into a thin line. You can't just leave. I've been paying for the privilege of being disrespected, I say, my voice steady. That arrangement is over. Dad reaches for my hand, but I pull back. Amanda, be reasonable. I am being reasonable. For the first time in years. My phone buzzes with a text from Uncle Frank. Everyone's here, ready when you are. I need to go, I say, closing my laptop. Sierra's dinner starts in 30 minutes. My parents follow. The restaurant buzzes with conversation as I enter the private room. Uncle Frank reserved. Sierra sits at the head of the table in a cream-colored dress, surrounded by aunts, uncles, and cousins I haven't seen in months. My parents trail behind me, confusion evident on their faces. What is this about? My mother whispers harshly. I don't answer, making my way to Sierra. She looks up, her smile faltering when she sees my expression. Amanda? What's going on? I place a wrapped gift box in front of her. The silver paper catches the light from the chandelier above. I wanted to show you something, to all of you, I say loudly enough for everyone to hear. The room quiets. Open it. Sierra hesitates before carefully removing the wrapping paper. Inside lies a leather-bound portfolio containing every financial record, receipt, and bank statement from the past 2 years. Here's my gift to you, the truth about who's been supporting you. Sierra flips through the pages, her expression shifting from confusion to shock. It's all there, I say quietly. $61,000 over 2 years. Sierra looks up, her eyes filling with tears. She turns to our parents, who stand frozen near the doorway. How could you? My mother steps forward. Sierra, this isn't the place. No, Sierra snaps, holding up a page. We need to fix this at this moment. Uncle Frank stands. Your sister has been carrying this family while being treated like she's less successful than you. Aunt Patricia gasps. Martha, is this true? My mother's face reddens as murmurs spread through the room. My father stares at the floor. Sierra pushes back from the table and walks to me, still clutching the portfolio. Her voice drops to a whisper. I never knew you carried so much for me. A tear slides down her cheek. From now on, live for yourself. The room watches in stunned silence as Sierra confronts our parents, demanding answers I've sought for years. I feel something loosen in my chest, a knot of resentment and obligation beginning to unravel. Later that week, I hear through Uncle Frank that my parents are considering selling their house. Without my monthly contributions, they can't afford the mortgage. Part of me wonders if any relationship with them can be salvaged, or if I even want to try. I tape shut another moving box in my apartment, marking it kitchen with a black marker. Seattle awaits a new job, a new home, a new start. As I wrap glasses in newspaper, I find the photo album I'd tucked away years ago. Opening it reveals faded pictures of family vacations, holiday gatherings, birthday celebrations, smiling faces that look like strangers now. I close the album and place it in a box labeled Undecided. 6 months later, the morning light streams through my Seattle apartment windows, painting my small dining table in warm gold. I stare at the notification from my student loan app balance reduced by another $2,400 this month. No mortgage payments for my parents, no credit card bailouts for Sierra. Just my own financial freedom, one payment at a time. My laptop chimes with an incoming video call. Diane's familiar face fills the screen, her Atlanta kitchen visible behind her. Look at you. Seattle suits you, she says, sipping coffee from her oversized mug. You seem different. I straighten my shoulders. I closed 2 major projects this quarter. Team lead says I'm on track for promotion by December. And no one taking credit for your work this time, Diane notes. I laugh, a real laugh that starts in my belly and rises without restraint. It's strange not having to downplay my success to avoid making someone else feel bad. Quote, what about that hiking group you mentioned? We're planning a weekend trip to Mount Rainier next month. I hesitate, then add, and I've been seeing someone. Nothing serious yet, but you're allowing the possibility. Diane's smile widens. That's the real victory. Later that evening, I slip into a sage green dress for my company's gathering dinner. As I adjust my simple gold necklace, I notice my reflection shoulders back, chin lifted, eyes clear. The woman who left Austin 6 months ago would have hunched slightly, making herself smaller. The banquet room buzzes with conversation when I arrive. My department head waves me over to a table near the front. There she is, she announces to the group. Amanda's client satisfaction scores were the highest in the company this quarter. The Reynolds account specifically requested her for their next phase. A round of applause follows. My cheeks warm, but I don't deflect or diminish the praise. I simply say, thank you. I'm proud of the work we've done. When the woman beside me asks about family, the question doesn't twist my stomach into knots like it once would have. My parents and I are taking some space, I say, calmly, butter knife steady in my hand. My sister and I are finding our way to a more honest relationship. No shame colors my voice. No elaborate excuses fill the silence. Just truth, simply stated. Sometimes family is complicated, she responds. Yes, I agree. And sometimes it's exactly what it appears to be. The weekend brings Diane and Uncle Frank to Seattle. We gather in my small living room, takeout containers scattered across my coffee table. Uncle Frank raises his glass of Pinot Noir. To Amanda, he says, who taught me it's never too late to choose your real family. Diane chimes in, to building the family you choose, not just accepting the one you were born into. We clink glasses as I absorb their words, feeling the truth of them settle into my bones. The following Tuesday, an unexpected email appears in my inbox. Sierra's name in the sender field makes my finger hover over the delete button, but curiosity wins. I took over Mom and Dad's mortgage payments last month, she writes. They weren't happy about it. Dad actually suggested I ask you to help out until I get established. I told him I've been established for years, just never financially independent. That's changing now. The email continues, detailing her struggles with budgeting and financial responsibility. It's harder than I expected, she admits, but also more satisfying. I think I understand now what you've been trying to tell me. I read the final paragraphs twice. Mom and Dad want to visit you. I told them that's your decision, not mine. They don't quite understand why you won't, Let bygones be bygones. I'm starting to. I'd like to visit sometime if you're open to it, just me. My reply is short but genuine. Not ready for mom and dad yet, but I'd love to show you Seattle in the spring next year. As I close my laptop that evening, I wonder about the fine line between forgiveness and self-protection. Sierra seems genuinely changed by confronting our family's patterns, but our parents remain unchanged. What would you do? Attempt to rebuild relationships with those who've proven unwilling to change, or focus on nurturing connections with those who respect your boundaries?